I'm not sure I love the idea of eating on the street. I just feel it's so hard to get out there and make it like it was.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like it was. And you spend all that money to eat that. We had that conversation before. Yeah, but spend all that money on good food and you're just sitting on the street. What's up with that? Yeah, but this is always busy. I don't know what they do in there. What are we lining up for?
Anime.
Just to buy stuff? It's a lot of lining up. It's like, is there nowhere else to get anime stuff?
No, there's a few stores. They must be having a release today.
Yeah.
How about Donatsu?
How about let's eat those any time of the day you want, because they're good. I have a friend, Dina and I did a donut excursion one day. We hit like 4 or 5 places with donuts. Nobody should be eating that many donuts in a day.
I'm just gonna get one.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll have one. Let's see what you got. Bischoff. Biscoff? A Biscoff.
Biscoff's a type of. Creme brulee.
See, you can have all of that forever. Not a fan. Never was. Isn't that weird? Never cared for it. We're at Donatsu.
You want Biscoff?
One.
Yeah.
Biscoff? Yeah.
We're just gonna eat them too, so you can just give them to us on paper.
Yeah. No need to put in a bag. We'll just eat right away.
Oh, okay. Anything else?
Yeah, creme brulee, please.
You want this in a bag or not?
Can you just put it on paper or bag? I just don't need a box.
Okay.
Box.
It will live approximately 30 seconds once
Yeah.
you hand it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Appreciate it. Awesome. Your total's gonna be $7, and let me get you that.
Do you want me to get you? I got some money. We've got your money.
Creme brulee? Yeah, let
Mmm.
me give you that.
I'm just gonna shove it right through my mask.
There you go.
Ah, so excited.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Do you need a receipt?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Awesome.
Oops.
Well said.
I got some wipes too. If you need them. Look at this beautiful thing. Oh. Ooh, wrong lighting. Oh, look at that. Come on, camera. Focus. Can't tell if it's a camera or me. Down you go. Beautiful little donut. Donatsu.
Next to the empty liquor bottle.
Ooh. That's not ours.
Anymore.
It's hilarious. All right, shiny little donut. You're going in my mouth.
Let's enjoy these over by the garden.
Okay.
If you want.
I'm gonna shove this in my face so bad.
Donatsu. I love donuts. The other day, Marco
Especially a
said,
great donut. It's incredible.
yeah, Marco said that donuts are the hardcore hardcore porn of the dessert
Wow.
stable.
A lot going on there.
It's just all sugar and fat.
Yeah,
No
that's true.
nuance whatsoever.
Oh, he's really thought this through.
For the conversations.
It's married life, baby. I live the life of a monk sometimes. I'm just literally don't use my voice for a couple, 2-3 days.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to use it.
When I do try to talk, it cracks or hurts. It's quite something. I'm completely lost right now.
Never been here?
No.
Secret Japanese garden in Little Tokyo.
This is gorgeous. Is there any human access allowed?
There normally is, but they've got it locked up for tables.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes there's weddings going on down here.
This is your little moment of zen. Enjoy the look while I eat a donut.
Yeah.
Got napkins if you need them. Right here.
Moment of zen while we
Zone. Whew. Let's see what this mustache looks like when it comes out of the. Oof. Get those wings out. How's your donut? How's your donatsu? Yeah, she's loving that donut. I've seen cowboys in movies that look tough, settle up at the bar like that. Okay. Will it fit? Will it fit? I gotta eat it upside down.
got a crispy creme brulee top.
A good donut.
Get the money shot.
Whoop, you in there? Hold on.
Creamy middle.
Oh my. No, no, no. We now return you to the Zen garden while I mess with my mustache.
You know what I'd love to hear in the comments? If anybody knows, I've tried to research. What does James Irvine have to do with Japanese culture? Because he was actually an Irish immigrant. Big landowner, obviously. Irvine was named after him. Founded the year I was born.
1926. Oh,
But I mean, he's Irish. I thought like maybe he had a Japanese wife.
no?
Didn't find anything about it. So if anybody knows
Oh,
why James Irvine is associated with Japanese culture,
let us know.
drop it in the chat. I mean the comments.
Send us your cards and letters. Like I said, every time I say something I know that people are going to have something to say about,
Yeah.
I say keep those cards and letters coming, kids. Nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about.
Is that an old person reference?
Yes.
No,
That's a great thing about listening to those old radio commercials too. They have commercials embedded in that radio broadcast I was telling you about. And they say, hey, thanks. The response to the CBS Radio Mystery Theater has been fantastic. A lot of you entered for that recent contest and asked many questions about this or that. Please send us your cards and letters, or send us a separate letter, stamped envelope, postmarked, and gives the entire address. Some building down here, downtown LA, or in New York. Somebody was inundated with cards and letters and had to deal with them.
all the time when I'm in school, kids get frustrated. I say patience, grasshopper.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what I'm
Nope.
talking about.
Not only is that a reference decades old, it's from a television show, but even though it was a big hit, it was still a niche. It's like,
I saw David Carradine at that that little wine place on the corner of Riverside and over by Mary Beth's old apartment, 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Bendome?
Vendome, yeah. They used to do little wine tastings in there. He came in one night. Oh my God. This exploded in whispers.
Oh, really?
Everybody was so excited to see David Carey.
Yeah, well, it was big. He was
It's from leftover from our youth.
a
My
brain.
youth. I don't know about you.
Yeah, we watched it every week. It was a big deal.
We're talking about
TV show called Kung Fu. David Carradine. Jodie Foster was on like the first episodes.
was she?
She starred. She was a co-star in one of the episodes as a kid. Little trivia for you.
The other day I started rewatching Sanford and Son. Man, that is a funny show.
It's an excellent show.
So
It's an
funny.
excellent show, and I was shocked. Here's something that's cute. Tell your story, and then I'll tell you a cute story. Is there more, or you were just watching?
Oh, yeah, I was just watching it, but I was rewatching it because I call my husband Fred Sanford all the time, but since he's from somewhere else,
Yeah.
he only has American knowledge from like 1985 on.
Yeah,
So he
so it's
has no
limited.
idea what I'm talking about. I'm like, you gotta watch Sanford and Son, it's great. And he doesn't get the humor of Red
Sure.
Fox and stuff, but every time he drags home another piece of junk into the yard, I'm like,
Yeah.
Theme song by Quincy Jones.
Yeah,
Quincy
yeah,
Jones.
excellent music. It's actually, if you listen to the whole piece, it's just a couple minutes long, 2-3 minutes long. It's great. I was just going to say that in the opening credits scene, when Demont is driving the truck and pulls into the
Lamont.
Sorry, played by Demont. That was the
Delmond, or Demond.
Demont, yeah. Wilson, right? Demont Wilson. We know our stars from the 70s TV. But he was driving down the road, then he pulls into the junk shop, and Fred's standing out front, and there's a bunch of old junk in front. It's a quick shot, just pulls right in. Magnolia Boulevard, North Hollywood. The building is since been kind of mucked with, and it's all blue. It's a plumbing company now. And it wasn't a junk shop at the time. And if you do a freeze frame on it, you realize it was just a business. They picked it there. All they did is brought some props from the prop department, threw some out in front, did the shot, probably packed it all up and went to the next thing. Probably got 6 shots in a day to cover that. But you can see the buildings on the other side of the street haven't changed at all.
Yeah.
And it's right there, but just east of Cahuenga on Magnolia.
Yeah. Burbank is frozen in amber.
It is. It is.
If you love 50s culture, you gotta get to Burbank.
Yeah. Adam 12, they're rerunning. You know, not only are they rerunning those shows, but they've been remastered. They never looked that good when they first ran. But the detail that you can see in the background and surrounding areas for culture lovers, architecture lovers, landscape lovers, it's full of some great stuff. And because it was a Universal show, they were filming all over Toluca Lake and up and down Lancashire. All the time. Vineland, Studio City, Ventura Boulevard. And Perry Mason, a show that's underrated if you've never seen the original Perry Mason series. My whole life, it was, you just see one of those things running on TV and you're like, oh, old people, stupid, I don't want to watch that, black and white. My friend, oldest friend from high school, Jim, was staying with me for a while, and he'd put that thing on at 11 o'clock every night. I'm saying 11:30. Incredibly good show, spectacularly good show, great acting. Some of the biggest actors that early in their careers were guest stars or small parts. But man, every time they give an address, I Google it, and it's a real place, and they'll say is up in Beverly Hills off of blah blah street. Sure enough, it's in Beverly Hills. It's in the street, and even though they don't show it in the show, I just want to know. But sometimes they use the address of the studio lot where they were actually filming from, which is cute, or the street behind it. It would reference quite a bit. which was the
Should
old.
we walk while we talk? Or are you gonna bore people? Are you bored?
Nobody cares. Nobody's watching my
Did
my
you
stream.
watch the Newberry Mason? I thought it sucked.
I that's all I heard is that it was terrible, and then I read a reviewer that I tend to agree with, and I found no reason to watch anything, even the trailer.
It's too bad. I was excited,
Yeah.
especially when they put that facade up next to.
Ooh, set design, all that was
Right.
great. Kitty cat running around in the Zen garden,
The Kit Kat.
creeping behind that rock,
I see you, creeper.
looking for lizards, leaping lizards.
This is so pretty.
Yeah, you just walked along that whole path. It's like, I'm going right in there. Missed it. Well, now I know why this is here.
Secret Japanese garden.
Feels good.
Are you ready to go? Some more history?
Okay. Let me
I
put
don't
on.
know. You getting tired?
This is all I do. There's nothing else to do. I'm in COVID hell. I just have nothing but hours to fill in the day.
Oh, we got a donut for lunch. Half one.
That was the dumbest lunch I've ever had, and it was great. Good
That's
call.
the other great thing about being an adult. The other day I was eating a.
You can cheat. You can taunt death every time you open your mouth. Yeah.
The other day I was eating a pint of ice cream in front of my class. I'm like, the benefits of adulthood.
Oh God. Kids are like, I hate that girl. I gotta find a trash can.
Did you know that Red Fox's last name is Sanford?
Is that right?
His real last name, yeah. I think his brother was Fred Sanford.
Do you think that had anything to do with the show? The naming of the show? No. Yeah? No?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't know that.
He was so funny. And you know what? I think I read. He was either like 49 or 50 when that show
Yeah, he was
filmed.
not very old.
And you look at him, it's like.
Got that walk, yeah.
16 heart attacks.
Larry Flint, who just passed away. That was very difficult
Oh,
for me.
yeah.
Was the age I am now when I started working for him.
Oh my God. And you thought he was old.
Yeah,
right?
everybody thought he was like in his 60s and 70s at the time. How about that for crazy? And yeah, in 1978.
How old was he when he got
He's
shot?
like 29, 30 years old.
God.
See, here's something I was saying the other day, and I'd be curious to hear what you feel about this, or what your take on this is. One of the things about history that I think is missing, when you're sharing history or trying to teach people anything about history, whatever you prefer, is if you leave out the crucial context of, you lose a great depth of understanding of the situation, of what was going on. And to know how old somebody was when they were doing whatever they were doing in history can really shine a light on your,
Yeah.
can really open your mind to maybe your possibilities, the possibilities of people you know or young people. Because you tend to always think of history, and like I was thinking about my former employer, I thought just, he must be an old guy, because you got to be old to achieve certain things.
Yeah.
No, he was already accomplishing and achieving. That's 4 or 5 years into his building of his empire.
Yeah.
And it could have knocked him out, and it did for a number of years, but he continued. And that at the age of 57, he's already got a 16-story building in Beverly Hills, a casino, an apparel company, a G4 airplane, and several other ventures.
Yeah.
Dude, I am an underachiever's underachiever.
I think with any story, whether it's fiction or real,
Yeah.
everybody tries to like place themselves in the story.
Yes.
What would it be like if I was there? And so when people give their ages and you're like, oh, that's near my age.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, when I was reading about red fox, I'm like,
Puts a whole nother spin on it, really contextualizes
Yeah.
things. Or like Biddy, the story you just told me. Like, how old was she when she was walking behind that wagon? I'm sorry. When she was walking behind that wagon.
Bridget Mason? I don't know.
You know? Things like that are,
And she already had 2 almost full-grown children.
but she still could have been very young considering what was going on at the time. So that's not always, because when you say something like that, she already had 2 grown children, but that you're contextualizing in today's
Yeah,
view
exactly.
of what that means.
Yeah.
But we have to look at
She could have been in her, mid.
is she was this old when this happened, and everything can snap into place in a very meaningful way. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
But I just think that those tags, like Red Fox was this old, and he played an older guy, you know. That's how good an actor he was, you know. Yeah, anyhow, I don't have the intelligence to verbalize this in a way that's...
Everybody loves Poquito.
What is Poquito?
It's kind of like a housewares / gift shop.
Never heard of it.
Very cutesy, designy.
Should we go look?
You can. I'll stay here.
I'll come another day.
We'll find a shop.
I've got a massive shopping gene, baby.
I love this too. Kind of personalizes the crosswalks to the neighborhood.
The fashion district's fun too.
Yeah, the little fashionable lady.
So we are in the thick of Koreatown?
No, we're headed to the arts district.
Oh yeah, we're one step away from... I did a couple of hours here last week.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did the whole arts district twice.
You didn't do my arts district.
No, I'll do yours.
When are you going to come on a bike tour?
Oh, I'm so afraid to get on a vehicle with one eyeball,
Yeah?
but
Think it would work out for you?
I'll try it.
Well, I don't want you to...
I think now I'd be more open to it. I'm physically stronger than I have been. When I'm not streaming, I'll show you, or maybe I'll fire up my other phone. I took a picture of myself the other day and compared it to a picture of myself when I was 16. It's pretty weird what you can achieve when you're on lockdown during a pandemic.
I'm jealous of all the people who, like...
They decided to go that way instead of the other way.
Became their best selves.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm trying, but it's something only the critics can answer.
You're a new and improved version.
What's that?
You're a new and improved version.
Well, that means a lot coming from you. You know, people who know me have known me a long time. I've tried really hard, and on one hand, the other hand is nature just wears you down. It's like Alameda Street and 2nd Street, looking at Angel City Brewery.
Crossover, Alameda, you're officially in the arts district.
You should look at your phone once in a while. I know, but I only have one eye. You know that, Robin. So it's like, how much attention can I give it to anything that doesn't have boobs? What was that you were saying about how I've matured? I just destroyed your whole... How fast can I blow that out of the water? One crosswalk. Railwood, it's so good to see you there. I don't know if you're still there, but thanks for being here. This is the second stream of my walking downtown Los Angeles with Handlebar bike tours. What? How does that work? Handlebar bike tours.
My real name is Jen.
Handlebar bike tours. Owned by the lovely and talented and very intelligent Jen. Somebody who's so intelligent they let her teach others how to be intelligent.
I don't know if that's
Never
a sign
thought
of,
that would be part of your life, huh? Let's put that on your resume.
sign of intelligence or stupidity.
I teach other people how to do.
Angel City. There was a time when you and I, Al, could not walk right by Angel City.
It's true.
People like you and I.
Like the party people. Party, party. We are the party people. I've had my time. You know what's cool about this app too, which I'll share with you, but it has music libraries that you can play and have some cool music in the background. So this is a sort of a part deux. Look at these beautiful flowers. So gorgeous. And we're back in the Arts District, which we visited a few days ago, and we're going to take another look at it now. Hit. Okay. So, who's that guy that's staring down at everybody on that mural? That was the big question the other day.
That's the artist Ed Ruscha.
That's Ed Ruscha?
Yeah.
Ed, you gotta work on that stare down, pal. It's creepy.
So he helped found MoCA.
Yeah, he's a. I had a feeling he was. I just never seen him before, so I didn't know who he was, but I knew he was reference to art and patron of the arts in Los Angeles. But
So the artist who painted it is
that stare, dude.
Kent Twitchell, which
That's a big name too.
you're driving up the.
I think I'll wait till you finish the picture.
Oh no, that's okay.
Thank you very much.
No
Yeah, no.
Kent Twitchell, who also painted the symphony orchestra characters
Yes,
that are
yes.
on the 110 freeway. It's like a photorealism style.
Remember the woman on one side, and then the man was on the other side of the freeway? Do you remember that one?
No.
I just saw that artist that was photographed. She's also a fine artist here in Los Angeles. And anyhow, I'm sorry, I'm referencing some of his work, and if you don't know it, I'll share it and find it for you.
Ed Ruscha or Kent Twitchell?
Twitchell's work. It was just great. It was one of those photorealistic paintings. And as you're going north on the 110 in downtown, just before you start getting to the 101 split or the continue on to the 5, as you were going under the underpasses, if you looked right, it was a woman with her hands out like this looking, and it was just this much of her, so it was huge. And it filled the entire wall, top to bottom, side to side. And if you looked across the other way through the pylons, you'd see a man doing the same pose, and they were looking at each other. And it was kind of cute because it's like lovers, husband, wife, whatever, you make up your story. But after the 94 earthquake, when they had to retrofit and reinforce all of those overcrossings, they put solid barriers between each of those things. So they were never able to see each other ever again.
Oh God, it's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking, artistically speaking and romantically speaking. But then, but it also got a lot of graffiti, and so it was apparently moved. They redid the art, moved it to a part of the 101 freeway in downtown. I haven't seen it. I don't know where it is. But I just saw this woman. I think I saved it, so I'll send you the link if I did. Her chatting about her art and then talking about that particular piece and being photographed for it. It's nice to have that connection beyond just, oh, that was that art that was there.
Do you know about this mural?
I don't know about it. I just take pictures of it every time I come in.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular one. So it's done by an artist named Human. It's a female artist out of San Francisco, Oakland area. She's pretty significant in the mural scene and crossing over into fine art.
Yeah.
But the mural itself is dedicated to Joel Bloom. Do you know who he is?
No.
So Joel Bloom, they call him the mayor of the Arts District, the unofficial mayor of the Arts District. He's passed away now, but when artists first started moving in here in the early 1980s, Joel Bloom opened up a little convenience store,
Yeah.
and it kind of became a meeting place for
Oh.
the artists who were like clandestinely living in these warehouses.
Right. I remember those days.
He was part of the Second City comedy troupe
Oh.
in Chicago. Came out here with his friend George Wendt, who went on to
Oh,
Cheers
we're in the way.
fame. And he used to perform drive-in plays
Wow.
here.
Here.
Long before COVID, drive-in plays. People would honk their horn and
That's cool.
flash the lights. And apparently he's a curmudgeonly kind of guy.
I
Never
love
met him.
Love them already.
Yeah, but he coined the term Arts District.
Oh.
He also kind of like, organized people to advocate the city for like
Mhm.
the little Tokyo Metro stop. And like this was a neighborhood where people lived, and for the city council to pass the AIR, artist in residence, which allowed people to live in these warehouses where previously they were getting kicked out.
Yeah, yeah.
The inspectors. And 82, have you ever been in there?
No.
Across the way? So 82 is a barcade, but right here, this block, is where two different Los Angeles train stations were.
Oh.
Prior to Union Station being built in 39, you took a train to LA. This is where you landed down here in the Arts District. On Main
I had
Street,
no clue.
the $1 Million Hotel
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the new $1 Million. They have those big neon signs on top.
Right.
Those neon signs were built to face the train station
Oh.
down here, which is
I
why,
could totally see what that is. That building's in the way now, but
yeah,
yeah.
if you're on Main Street.
So that would attract.
I used to wonder that. I'm like,
Yeah,
who's
why
supposed
there?
to look at those big signs?
Yeah.
People arriving here in Los Angeles. So I always tell people a good place to mine for Black history is around the railroads. So the Arts District actually started out as a Black neighborhood because this was the end of the Santa Fe line.
Oh, yeah, right.
And so there was LeGrand Station here, big glass thing, and then replaced by another station. And have you ever been down to SciArc, Southern California Institute of Architecture?
I know the building, I know the location, but no, I've never been in there.
You can tell that that used to be part of the train station.
Oh. What is it that is the tell?
If you look at old pictures of LeGrand Station, it looks just like SciArc. They have these big arched windows.
Oh.
And Tom Bradley's father, Mayor Tom Bradley, that we talked about earlier, he was actually a porter on the Santa Fe line, and that's why I say, if you want to mine for some Black history, you look at the train stations and train stops, because it was one of the few places that a Black man could establish a profession in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So his family, Tom Bradley's family, came out here in the Great Migration because his father was a Santa Fe porter.
Those are fascinating connections. Which way should we go?
It is. Let's go this way.
That's fascinating connections. Do you remember the old 80s British or BBC show called Connections with James Burke?
No.
I think you'd like that show. I'm going to find that for you. He would basically, I'm going to do this poorly, but he'd start off a show by asking a question. Isn't this beautiful? I just love this. Absolutely loved it. I spent about 5 minutes around this thing the other day. It's fun. Who?
S.C. Miro is the artist.
Oh.
He used to have a little rubber ducky on top.
Oh,
And
really?
Actually, prior to this, there was a giant parking meter because Angel City has turned what used to be Bloom Square, a meeting place, into a parking lot.
Oh. Wow.
Sorry, go ahead with
No.
your connections.
No, James Burke, it's just a fascinating show. And he'd start off every episode with basically a question that says, what does a guy adjusting his earphones in the Arts District in downtown Los Angeles have to do with Elon Musk's new spaceship going to Mars? And there'll be 50 or 20 random, seemingly random connections throughout time that led to that being possible. It's really fascinating.
Yeah,
And
that does sound like
it was, and he actually did a second version of the series called Connections 2 about a decade later. It's one of the most powerful educational, historically educational programs I've ever seen, and hugely influenced my constant desire to understand the connection between this and that. Why this?
Oh, here's a connection.
Ooh, I've got a connection for you too.
The neon building, new neon museum over in Glendale.
I've never been there, but I know of it.
It's great, but here is where that started.
so happy for that.
Yeah.
Because when this first started in the early 80s, this was just a warehouse where they kept stuff. And it wasn't even a gallery yet. If you called them and said, hey, if you're going to be down there, can I come in and look? But it wasn't like they would show you around, but it was just a warehouse. And all of this was no man's land.
Yep.
And I mean, really, it was like the middle of nowhere. So it was probably about 80, let's just say 86-ish, 87-ish. But
middle of nowhere / Skid Row.
yeah, and I used to come downtown on major holidays, take photographs, black and white photographs, because it was post-apocalyptic looking.
Yeah.
And there was, on this wall, there was just sort of like that paint blurb is kind of coming up. There was a body, like a dead body outline painted half on the wall. And I have a photograph of me laying against this building, and it was just my way of trying to be connected to the art of Mona, because Mona I just discovered about it through Hugh Hauser and his show, and just thought it was fascinating. And I just
Have you ever done one of their bus tours?
no.
Oh, those are great. They
No.
take this double-decker bus out.
I've seen it out and about.
It's fun.
Yeah, I've seen them stop in front of the Frolic Room actually to take a gander at that.
Alex got a great sign.
But anyhow, that's my connection to this place. I always back then knew this is where I would love to live. Never came to pass, but it's great to see this place turn into, from a Skid Row no man's land to
My first
incredibly
trip
thriving
down to
place.
the Arts District was to go to Al's Bar around the corner
Mhm.
here. It's over in the shades.
Okay. Are you a native from Los Angeles? Right.
Me?
Yeah. No, right?
No.
It's not my medicine bottle.
Growing up in Plymouth,
Yeah.
you're like surrounded by history. Boston history, and history's always been important to me.
So you saw where I was going with that, because I'm wondering, what is it about this particular city that you have a particular affinity for? It was just history in general.
Well, you know, I've got this rockabilly streak, and
Yeah.
I love vintage cars, vintage furniture, and Los Angeles just kind of preserves a little bit more modern time period than I grew up in.
Oh, okay.
You know, like
Yeah, that makes sense.
20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. I just feel like it's a really glamorous time. And in Boston, they knock that shit down.
Yeah.
If it's not from the 1700s, it doesn't count.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I understand that.
So let me tell you about this building, American Hotel. Or what do you know about it?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Zero. And if I do, I didn't know it was this spot.
So the American Hotel started out as the Canadian Hotel, and it was built specifically for African Americans. When it opened in 1905, they were like, we're not going to enforce the color line. Black folks can stay here. White folks won't be turned away either. And again, that's because this was the end of the Santa Fe line, just around the corner.
Oh, okay. Connection.
Yeah, African Americans would arrive in Los Angeles and not be able to check in anywhere.
Yeah.
So, American Hotel welcomed them, and
What was it called at the time? Or do you-
Canadian.
Canadian.
It's called the Canadian Hotel. And this bottom corner here has always either been a restaurant or a store. The corner store you see right there, that
Mhm.
was Joel Bloom's store.
Mm.
And in the Prohibition era, it was a series of Italian restaurants because you could get wine from the Italians, which is another crazy connection. Why Italian food is so popular in the United States is because of Prohibition. You guys, you're Italian, right?
No, but I just adopted it. Yeah, I'm half Mexican, half American mutt.
Oh, well, that's one of the reasons why.
I just smell Italian. I know what that means.
It's gonna offend people left and right here.
Keep those cards and letters coming. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
You assumed it was a bad thing, Internet, not me.
So this building has always had a reputation. When it first opened, You know, there was gambling, there was a bar in there where white and
We'll go over
black
this.
people were mixing. And
That's great. It was scandalous
yeah, and so
for the time.
the owners hired the only black LAPD officer in 1906 to manage the place.
Oh.
His name was Barry Randolph, and he managed it for a couple of years, left the LAPD. For a long time, in the 30s, the 20s, early 30s, it was a cafe called the Golden West, which was run by a man named George Brown, and he brought the first Creole bands from Louisiana. So again, this is also during the Great Migration, when Southern blacks are moving across the country to get away from Jim Crow. And so that Creole orchestra that used to play in the Golden West Cafe here, that was kind of the start of the LA jazz scene. And the manager, who was the first one to bring a black band to Los Angeles, George Brown, also went on to open several of the storied jazz clubs up on Central Avenue.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So this really is, at the risk of sounding like Hugh Hauser all of a sudden, but this really is the epicenter of not just jazz, but a very important hub for the expansion and the growth of Los Angeles, especially with regard to
and Black Los Angeles.
yeah, Black Los Angeles, because the train station was right here at the time. Because black Americans at the time couldn't easily get lodging anywhere else, this was the place.
Yep.
And then because this was the place, all the things you do to make life enjoyable, music specifically, became
Music,
an obvious,
drinking.
yeah, obvious thing to be doing here.
Yeah.
And,
it was
uh,
scandalous. It was scandalous because black and white people were drinking together here.
Yeah, people were being human. Great.
Yeah. And the other thing about
People being
this-
human is scandalous. Think about that. That's just so crazy.
And then the American, once Union Station opened in 1939, and with the rise of trucking post-World War II,
Hmm.
all these buildings that mostly had to do with food, with all the ranches and
Right.
farmland around here, emptied out. Artists started moving in late 70s, early 80s, and one of the places they started moving in was here at the American Hotel, because it was definitely like down on its heels, shared bathrooms,
Mm.
double digit rent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's a handful of longtime residents still in there. American Hotel has since been cleaned up. You
Sure,
can come and
sure.
stay here, and you're not going to be scandalized. But it's always been a building of people like cast out or on the fringes of society, which I find kind of interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's where life happens, right? That's where new things
Yeah.
develop. That's where.
My first trip to the Arts District was to go to Al's Bar, which for close to 30 years was in the first floor where you see the graffiti covered door. All kinds of people played there. White Stripes, Nirvana. On my first trip down here, there was a fire in the middle of the street. And when I was driving out of town later after I watched the band, I think it was Man or Astro Man, somebody jumped on the hood of my car.
Wow.
Like you said, this was
It was wild.
it was the middle
This was
It
the.
was the middle of something. Let's put it that way.
It was definitely the outer edge. It was beyond the outer edge of what was normal, rational Los Angeles. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a no-go zone.
This is another SC Miro piece. Giant mailbox. You're gonna like this little romantic story. Valentine's Day, I had a guy who really wanted to impress his new wife. He sent me a card ahead of time in the mail.
Yeah.
He's like, if you can figure out some way to give it to her during the tour, that'd be great.
Oh, that's great.
He sent me some money to buy her flowers, which I put on the bike. So we're on the tour, and I come over, and I'm like, this mailbox does something secret. I knocked on it and made the envelope fly out, and they were so
That's terrific.
lovey-dovey, they loved it.
How about that? Aren't you something? There's a little heart beating in there after all, huh?
I like theatrics. Let's take a look at the
Okay.
girls over here.
Yeah, I wanted to see those. It's interesting too that I were commenting the other day that the more familiar you get with a place, the smaller it seems to be. I've walked so much around here. It used to be this. Oh, that's a great shot, by the way. This used to be such a new experience, and
No, this is actually my most popular tour, is the Arts District. And I've done it so many times. Every time I do it, I'm like, this is fun. It feels really small to me, but
yeah,
people are done. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe all the stuff we saw.
yeah. That's the thing, is that for us it becomes the normal and the familiar.
Before we cross the street, the original pair of angel wings.
Oh, this is the original ones? Oh, this is great.
You see them all over the world now.
My friend makes fun of me all the time. Every time we see one, she goes, "There's your wings. You want to go do that?" I do. Let's see if I can get in there.
You want to get on?
Tell me more about the wings.
So, Colette Miller.
Am I supposed to stand on this and die? Oh, I've got too many wires on me. Let's try this.
Want me to do it?
Yes, but first, see, we have to attempt our own. There it is. How about that? Dina, eat your heart out. I am the original angel now. I'm the lost angel.
Fallen angel.
Oh, let's see that one more time. I haven't fallen off this thing. I don't know if you can even do that. Can you see me?
Yep.
I'll pull this out. So. Thank you.
Trying to find you.
Oh, come here, kid. Double click this trigger. Just go click. That's right above your finger. There you go. There you go.
All right. Flap, flap. Your angel wings are flapping.
Yeah, that's what that sound is. Yeah. Thank you.
So Colette Miller, after painting these, got a grant, the Global Angel Wings Project, to put them up all over the world, which is why you see them everywhere now.
I remember when that whole thing started. It was such a great idea. It did go all over the world. Now I know why. It's really something.
This building
Go back a little bit.
is Art Chair LA, and Art Chair has 30 live-work units. Way under
Oh,
market price
yes.
to try and keep artists here in the Arts District.
How do I get in there?
As
I gotta
the
be
place
art.
gentrifies.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. I remember.
They have a free gallery that's open when galleries open back up again. I recommend going in there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, we're good.
Let's take a look at the girls.
The great thing is that these are not highly produced events. This is just one dumb guy and a camera that's way too smart.
Bike crew.
Nothing like exercise to tire you out. I was unexpected. He's like, I didn't know this was going to be painful. Yeah, that's why they call it work. This is a beautiful color. This one I've never seen.
You've never seen this? So
No.
this is called La Abuelita,
Mm-hmm.
and it is actually a portrait of Martha Gorman Schultz, who is a Navajo blanket weaver.
Mm.
And it's done by UTI crew. You can see they've signed down in the bottom, which is made up of artists Elmac, Kofi, and Nuke, and some other people call themselves UTI crew.
Oh.
So a lot of muralists, they start out as taggers,
Right.
young, very young, just putting their tag up around places. And if they stick with it, they do something similar to what you see on the end there, a piece. Once you start adding, 2 and 3D effects and colors, you're kind of moving up the ladder, and then people graduate to muralist. But this one's kind of interesting because a lot of murals get credited to one person, but
Mhm.
almost every muralist works with a crew.
Yeah.
And this one you can really see the influence of different people, because you have kind of the pointillist style of Elmac and what I like to call the 80s album cover background.
Right.
And then you have the Haunted Mansion ghosts flying around City Hall. So you can see the influence of
Color scheme too. It all works.
And then this one they just put up in January.
I just noticed this. Yeah. The shadow there in the corner.
Oh yeah, the silhouette.
Yeah.
Yep, little
What dumb people call shadows. Sorry about that. I was like,
homage to what the American used to be in its early days. People having a good time.
that says it, doesn't it? Wow. It's intense. It's a great workspace. It's amazing standing right here, surrounded on all 4 points
Yeah.
by this amazing art. And it's still Christmas for someone. God bless you.
That building's actually empty right now.
Oh.
So it used to be artist lofts for primarily Asian American artists. Developer bought it, is going to turn it into luxury lofts, but nothing's been happening there other than evicting all the artists. The Johannes Brothers Company, the building was built by the architecture firm of Parkinson's, who did the City Hall and a whole bunch of other
Yeah,
iconic
Johannes Brothers.
buildings.
Sort of the quasi.
So I'm going to head back to Union
Okay.
Station.
I'll walk back that way.
If that's okay with you.
Works for me.
You can walk by the jail. That's a happy place.
Let's go by the jail. If we're not, as long as we're walking by it, that's happy to me. Walking in it, that's another story. Thank you for this. This is great.
Oh, this is fun. I learned a lot. I learned how to live stream.
Yeah, nothing useful, but I certainly learned a lot. Yeah.
Did you ever go to Al's Bar?
No,
What?
it's surprising
not?
how many places I haven't been. That's it's funny when I walk around with Dina. She's like, "What? I can't believe you've never eaten this kind of food. I can't believe you've never eaten here. Can't believe you didn't know this. You know everything." I was like, "I know." Like I said, the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. And for a place this big, that's got so many places that are, you'd think every in-touch Angelino would know. You'll find someone like me saying, "No, I didn't even know that existed." And that's what makes this so beautiful. So it's such a That's why I can take the same walk time and time again, just to walk with somebody else, and boom.
This mural is done by Vile One and Risk Rock District. I love Vile One. He always puts eyes in his work.
I stared at this from across the street last week. It's just really captivating.
And Risk always does sort of like these circles and almost like a waterfall of rainbows.
Oh,
You can see the same style on his piece on the Arts District Brewery.
oh yeah.
There's a
I'll look for that.
bunch of Vile One around the Arts District as well.
I don't think I've ever walked this direction looking at that. This is a great, yeah, this is a wonderful entry. Sort of leaving the Arts District looking at downtown proper. That's a beautiful skyline today.
US Bank Tower.
Mm-hmm.
From here it like dwarfs the Intercontinental,
Oh, absolutely.
which is supposed to be taller. Isn't, as we all know.
Yeah, I don't think if you have a tall building and you're counting the spire on the top, yeah.
Guess what this building's called? It's named after that guy.
Oh, Naked Man?
The Neptune building.
Neptune building for, wasn't this recently cleaned and restored?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's your bonus look since our stream got interrupted. Got a more the Arts District. Well, you've answered some important questions for me, like the who and the what and the why.
Oh, I got more.
Well,
I want to go again.
yeah, we'll go again and again. And we'll do one where we'll get some streaming for yourself. Get your Handlebar bike tour stream going.
Yeah.
The one thing that I learned is that, at least for me, the thing that really bothers me when I watch people my age doing their YouTube shows, older guys are trying so hard to be produced and like on point and so together. It's like, that's not interesting. Your audience can see that right away.
Check out the Divine Wheat Paste.
I love that. That's a good one. This Batman somewhere else. I said I give it a 10 because you know exactly who it is right away, and it's unlike anything you've seen somebody do before. Hit the like and subscribe, kids, if you would. Just hit the likes. Give me some likes.
That's a new one.
I want to be liked.
Full arrow on the target tag.
Oh, nice.
Get a picture of that. Exactly the kind of thing you don't see when you're buying a car.
Yeah, that's hard to catch. That's great.
Tag it bag.
What's that? Boop. All right.
Signing off.
Yeah, that's my bonus shot. I'm just gonna say goodbye real fast. Get that. I don't know if you can see what I'm putting on there, but little thing down below. Hello.
Bye, everybody.
That's how that goes. And don't forget, wherever you are, it's probably right where you should be. Good luck with that.